Hi, and welcome to Code Tutorials. Today we'll be taking a look at how you can create galleries that resemble card stacks using the card slider widget from our Qi Addons for Elementor plugin. With this widget, you can create image sliders that rotate on their own so the cards seem to shuffle, or you can let your visitors navigate through the gallery by themselves. Beyond the widget's options that let you create different looks and styles to match your site, you can combine the widget with other elements to create elaborate sections. Generally, you can mix and match the widgets from the Qi Addons collection to create whatever design you imagine. There are all kinds of possibilities you have with the card slider widget. So let's see how we can use one of these for ourselves. Head over to the back end, and in the Elementor sidebar, search for card slider. There it is. Now drag it over to the right. And this is what the widget looks like by default. We have 3 items ready-made, and if we want to add more, we can do so by clicking here. Then we get a 4th item. 3 is enough for me, so I'll remove this. And we can start from the top. The first option we have is to pick the image shuffle style. The default setting is shuffle right, but you can change that to shuffle left. And then the card stack would cascade from the left. For my slider, I'll stick with shuffle right. Then in the image items, the first field is for adding a link. Set any URL you want and make the image clickable. I'll set a hashtag as a temporary placeholder. And now when I hover, the linked image will be revealed by the change in the cursor. A pointer will replace the default arrow. Okay, I'll remove this. Now the image can be replaced here. You can pick one from your media gallery or upload a new one. Okay, and I'll add the images for my remaining 2 items. There. And last one, there it is. Okay, once you've picked out your images, you can set the image proportions. It's set to medium by default, but you can change that to any of these other options. I'll set mine to original. And it looks like this because of the initial dimensions of the images I added. So if you add images that are bigger or smaller than 600 pixels, which is the width of the images I'm using, then your gallery will have a somewhat different size. Additionally, the images you add should have the same or at least similar dimensions to keep your gallery looking neat and in proportion. Okay, moving on. Our next set of settings is for the developer tools. When we open them, we can see there's just one option here, and we can switch its setting to yes and get it to display the widget in the form of a standard WordPress shortcode, the text you see on the right, which we can easily copy for use elsewhere on our site. Alright, now let's see what we have under the Style tab. The first section has only one option, and that's Offset Step. It lets us shift how far out the bottom images will be from the ones on top. If you set 0, the bottom images will be tucked entirely under the top one and they won't be visible until the slide changes. Still, I suggest you add some offset. What I've chosen for mine is 50 pixels. Next, we have the slider navigation style settings. So in here, if you want to replace the default arrows used for the navigation or set custom ones, you can click here. This is for replacing the left navigation arrow, the one for previous slides, and you can use the icon library, there's a large selection to choose from, or you can upload an SVG. That's what I'll do with this one. Insert media. And you have identical options for the right arrow, and I'll upload another SVG here. There we go. After picking out your navigation, you can style it. You can change the color here. There's this standard color picker. You can use the slider or type in a hex code. I'll do the latter to get dark gray arrows. We also have the option to change the background color for the navigation, and it gets us this. Now both of these are for the normal navigation display, but we also have settings for the hover display. The first 2 are the same 2 color options, only these would show on hover. So if I set a new color, there it is, and it's the same if I set a background color. It's visible only on hover. And we have a new option here, Enable Hover Arrow Move. It's set to yes, so we get an arrow movement when we hover. If we switch it to no, we'll disable the arrow movement on hover. I'll keep mine enabled. Now let's get back to the normal settings. We have the navigation arrow size option. By moving the slider, we can adjust the size of the arrows. I'll put 22 pixels for mine. Then we have the navigation arrow holder width and the navigation arrow holder height options. To show you these, I'll temporarily set a background color, doesn't matter which, so we can see the effect of these options. When I start increasing the value here, the color grows wider to reflect the widening of the arrow holder. And the same happens when I increase the height. Think of the holder as each arrow's personal space, which you can increase height and width-wise. Okay, I'll reset all this now. I'm happy with the default holder values. After this, we have the navigation margin top. It lets us create more space between the navigation and the slider by adding a certain amount of pixels here. If you prefer, you can use ems, but I'll stick with pixels and set 6. There. Next, there's the navigation left offset. It lets us move the navigation further right if we need to by creating an offset on its left side. I'm going to switch to percentages here and put 2.7. This will bring the left arrow in line with the slider's left edge. And finally, we have the space between arrows. With this option, we can separate the arrows. Drive them apart by increasing the space here. For my navigation, I'll set 28 pixels. And that's it. Let me update to save my work. This is what my finished slider looks like. All my images are there and it's looping as it should. When I click on the navigation, the slides rotate, so it's functioning correctly. Overall, I'm happy with it. And now I'd like us to take one last look at the widgets page. You can consider it a source of inspiration. Here, for example, is the slider I copied for this tutorial, but you can also find other potential design solutions for the card slider here. The options we covered will help you make a card slider like any of these. So I hope this tutorial has helped you to see how easy making galleries like this can be with the Qi Addons for Elementor plugin and its card slider widget. If you have any questions, comments or suggestions, please drop us a line in the comments below. Also make sure to subscribe to our channel and be the first to learn about new theme guides and tutorials. Thanks for watching.